Hello! So now, this is actually the first video I'm posting on the channel, so in that regard, welcome. A few weeks ago, this year, 2024, I went to Nanjing, the capital city of Jiangsu Province in China, where I live, for the China National Day vacation, which is at the beginning of October every year. And it's the vlog I made of that experience, which I share with you here. So now, I didn't really have a plan. I was largely sort of looking at the map, exploring, and choosing my next steps as I went. So this definitely isn't the place to come if you want to learn the top facts about Nanjing, or even the best places to go in Nanjing. Like I say, I was largely exploring, and I don't even know the names of all the places I went to, but I do hope I can share some of the adventures I had and some of the thoughts I was having as I went. I did make some mistakes in what I was saying, which I address later on. For example, what the difference between a pavilion and a pagoda is. But anyway, more on that later. And so I do in the video also have a big focus on giving some general thoughts and experiences as a foreigner living here in China. I'm from the UK originally, and I've been living here in China for just over 5 years now in different cities. So that's all for now, and without further ado, I welcome you to Nanjing. Just arrived in Nanjing, finished my coffee. That's the high-speed train I use to get here from Wuxi, where I live. Headed through an underpass from the station, and I've found a bit of a quieter road here. Well, quiet compared to the other ones. I still have not looked at a map, so I don't know where I will end up. And it's actually got a bit warmer now. Bikes to hire just here on the roadside, but that definitely isn't special to Nanjing. It's the same in cities all over China. We have an e-bike and bike lane on the side of the road, between the road and the pavement here, but again, that's the same in many cities. Some China flags here. So because it's currently the China National Day celebration, celebrating the forming of the People's Republic of China in 1949, in cities and places all around China, you'll find lots of Chinese flags up on the road. It's a beautiful national celebration. These too. And also lanterns here. And the first Luckin Coffee just there over the road next to the trees. Probably my favourite coffee shop here in China now. A roadside gym here now, outdoor gym. These are also very popular in many areas of China that I've been to. You'll find them in many different places. There really is a big exercise community in many places in China, especially amongst older generations actually. I did have a quick look at the map, and so I'm now heading along this even quieter road towards the big river, and on the other side of the river there's a big park, so I thought I'd go to check that out. A sign towards the Ditie metro station, very specific distance there. Lots of small little shops here, well, shops and restaurants along a road like this, so even in a big city like Nanjing you will find lots of areas like this, a lot more local. But then in a bigger city like this, there are areas which I guess are a lot more westernized. Heading up a small hill now towards what seems to be a park in front of the river. A primary school here at the top of the hill, and over the other side a community which looks like a very rich community because it has houses as opposed to apartment blocks. Now, on. So I suddenly thought my road ahead was blocked and I couldn't go any further, but then I found this staircase up
a small little hill and into the park. So I will go up and see where I end up. It had actually been getting quite hot, so yeah, nice and cool in the shade. It's like going up through a forest. And lots of bugs around. Becoming a civilized dog owner starts from me. A very poetic translation there, as it seems I am getting higher and higher now, and we've reached a main sort of path, main road with many more flags. So there's some signs pointing upwards towards 2 pavilions, a memorial stone and a viewing point for the river. So I think I will continue up here. So these 2 used to be the reservoir for state-run dolomite ore, but are now preserved as ore industrial heritage. And up here we have a very peaceful little pagoda in the trees. So I just saw a sign saying that the memorial stone and the river viewing platform are actually in a different direction to the pavilion, one of the pavilions. So I'm heading to the pavilion first and then I'll go back. But yeah, just after I took that previous video clip at the pagoda, I met a young boy who was very keen to practice English with me. So he was very, very friendly, and he said he wants to go to the UK, where I'm from, next year. So it was great to meet a new friend. I guess reflecting, maybe it is much less of a relief actually now to meet an English speaking person compared to my earlier days in China, because, well, my own Chinese language skills, certainly on a basic conversational and everyday situation level, have developed. And although you can survive as a foreigner in China without Chinese, it really, really does help. And once you start to learn even just a little bit, you really notice the difference compared to when you didn't know anything. And I guess also with regards to language, there are many, many more English speaking people here in Jiangsu compared to Guizhou, where I lived for my first 3 years in China. Yes, I've made it. So it seems I've made a mistake. These are actually called pavilions. This is what a pavilion is. And a pagoda is actually a sort of small tower. So yeah, this is a pavilion, the pavilion I was heading to first. Yeah, and there's a man there just playing music and singing. And although this isn't the river viewing point that I'll head to next, there is a nice view of lots of trees and the river and another part of the city in the background. And we have reached the river viewing point. Very peaceful. And another outdoor gym up here at the top, just there through the trees. I found a little path through the forest to get down. And I've now found a wider path to head down. You know, it's beautiful that even in a big bustling city like Nanjing, there's still a small mountain and lots of nature. That's a beautiful thing actually about many cities in China, especially Guiyang in Guizhou, where I first lived. Guizhou is a mountainous province, and so within the city of Guiyang there were many big natural parks and mountains. And even in Suzhou and Wuxi, where I've lived the last 2 years, there's lots of lakes and waterways and parks and mountains. It's a great thing. Back to a main road, and there's a little street market with food and other stalls here. Just to give you a bit of a better look at it, I'll walk along. Different types of local food. And a shoes stall here. And here is Cocoa, another favourite location to buy coffee, although they're actually a fruit tea shop. So fruit tea, but you can get coffee there too. Now, I've just bought this. I guess you could call it a mushroom snack. So it's mushrooms which are dry and hard. So I guess it tastes a bit like crisps in some ways. But yeah, it's actually the first time I've had them, but you can buy snacks like this, dried fruit, dried vegetables like this in many places in China. And yes, I am just going to get a Luckin coffee and then head over in that direction towards my hotel. So my hotel, it seems to be a bit of a walk from here, but I'll start sort of wandering over now and check in. A Domino's pizza just over there. Certainly in Jiangsu, many places seem to have it. Or Suzhou, Wuxi and here Nanjing all do. Just found a big shopping centre here. We've got here on the outside this section a Watson's. That's a big pharmacy chain, big chemist chain in China. Then a Haiti and a Starbucks. Haiti and Starbucks are everywhere in China. But yeah, with regards to shopping centres, whereas in lots of other countries, certainly the UK where I'm from, over the recent years obviously it's been the death of the shopping centres, what with online shopping and everything. In China, on the other hand, although online shopping is also very big, there's actually been a massive growth in malls, shopping centres over recent years. New ones are being built everywhere. Just found a big shopping centre here. On this section on the outside we have a Watson's, that's a chemist chain all over China. Then Haiti and Starbucks, they are both found also all over China. But yeah, with regards to shopping centres, this one's just on a main road. Whereas in, I guess, other countries, certainly the UK, where I'm from, obviously over recent years there's been all the stories of the death of shopping centres, so there are far fewer shopping centres are closing down, what with online shopping and everything. In China it's actually the opposite. They do also have a big growth in online shopping, but at the same time over recent years there's been a massive growth in shopping centres. So all three cities I've lived in over recent years have had many new shopping centres built. Just came in to see inside. Yeah, and it's just like a standard big shopping centre like in many places in China. We've got an Apple store, some phone shops, a Bell, sort of a shoe shop in front of us. So like I said earlier, obviously in even big cities in China you've got those small local streets with lots of local shops, stores, restaurants, but you also have big shopping centres which are similar to those you might find in the UK where I'm from and many other countries, a lot more westernised I guess. Walking around, so yes, we've got many brands here, both Chinese and international. I guess one thing that's a bit different about this shopping centre than others around China, although obviously both styles exist, are as well as the sort of shops, on the side you've got these big open shops in the centre of the shopping centre. I suppose it's a good use of space in some ways and it helps to display everything very clearly without people going into shops. And of course McDonald's we have here, also with the China flag today. Just across the road here we have a small fairground type area, some fairground type rides and stalls just in front of what looks like another shopping centre. And here behind the fairground activities is a Blue Frog, or like it says, a bar and grill. There are quite a few of them, certainly around Jiangsu where I live. So as I walk towards the hotel, we are very much in the city centre now, and you can see really this part is very westernised, and that's the same for lots of big cities in China. And as we do just keep moving on, keep walking here, one of the things I really do love about China is that even in big cities like this, whereas in many ways it has been modernised and westernised and there's definitely modern and western influences here, it's still in many ways preserved much of its local culture, and there's many more cultural and traditional parts of the city. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So for example, just across the road from the big shopping centre, you've got the more local street food here as well. Yes, very much just like the city centre in, well, many places all around the world now. And on this side we have, again, many Chinese flags. Again, at the moment it's currently the Chinese National Day vacation, and it's really a beautiful part of the culture, how recognised and celebrated it is. Wow, peacocks, I think, made onto this roundabout. Very elegant and majestic. And the Costa over here, UK coffee chain. It's not as big in China as Starbucks is, but it's certainly in lots of places and seems to be growing actually. Another part of the city centre, all very much the same really. Manna Coffee, another famous coffee shop here in China. So it's dark now and I'm still making the walk towards my hotel. It's been quite a long walk across the whole sort of city centre, from the northern side down to the very middle towards the southern side. But it's been fun. Like I say, I've seen a lot, I've made multiple stops, but yes, almost at the hotel now. A market street lit up in the night time, and yes, a big variety of food around Nanjing Centre, just as there is in other similar big cities. A steakhouse here. There's a Haidilao just over there. That's a big hot pot chain, again all over China. Very, very good quality food. And I'm just going past a Mix C shopping centre. That's another chain of shopping centres, and there's actually one very close to where I live in Wuxi. Wow, Shake Shack. So now there's actually one of these in Suzhou, where I lived before Wuxi, in Suzhou Centre. And I remember I went there a couple of years ago with some friends, and we had a big talk about, I think, how Shake Shack had just come to China. But yeah, there's one here in Nanjing too. I actually just Googled it after that last video clip, and it turns out Shake Shack actually opened its first China branch in 2019, actually the same year I came to China, but that conversation I had with my friends was actually at the beginning of 2023. But yes, it was definitely the case, I think, for all of us, that we certainly hadn't seen many around China at that time. And another Luckin coffee there. Wow. A little canal maybe. And the boat's just coming. Gone through that big busy part of the city centre now, and yes, again on one of these small, more local type streets. A bridge over the river, and well, a city wall like structure here. Checked into my room okay. I'm in a Jinjiang hotel, another brand here in China, and I'm just off out to get some food, so most likely catch you tomorrow. Just one more clip of some big city buildings at night. Hello and good morning. Well, it's a beautiful day today. The sky is blue, the sun's out, but not too hot. So yeah, I've just checked out of my hotel. So last night for dinner, I'll post a photo as well. I did get a photo, I'll put a photo in the video. I found a small place which is similar to in lots of places in China you get them. So basically they'll have lots of different foods on skewers, so different vegetables, different meats, and tofu, and maybe some other things, and then you choose exactly what you want, and then they weigh it, and based on the number of skewers you have, the weight, that's how much you pay for it. So it's a very good way you pay for exactly how much you want. And then once you've got it, well, actually that you have barbecue. So in some places it's the same idea, then you'll barbecue it. But then what I did, I guess, was more like hot pot. So it's you'll give them all of the food you want and they'll cook it in a soup for you. So I told them, but anything that wasn't spicy was okay. And yeah, so I got it in a tomato soup, which was, yeah, very tasty, not too expensive, very good quality food. So that was good. Yeah, so it's a new day now, and I actually have a bit more of a plan for today. I've looked on the map, and there's a big park with a temple not too far away from the hotel, so I'm walking there now. And then after that, also not too far away, there's I think a couple more big parks in the mountains. So I guess, yeah, I've got more of a direction today, although again I haven't looked up any of the details of these parks. I'm just going and seeing what I find. I'm a bit later setting out, had a bit of a lie-in, but then my train home isn't until 9 o'clock tonight, so I've got a lot of time. Yeah, so I'm actually going home from Nanjing South train station. So you'll find a lot of cities, big cities, will have their main train station, for example, Nanjing, Shanghai, Suzhou, but then they also have like the north station, the south station, the east station, the west station. And so obviously normally the main station's very close to the city centre around that area, but sometimes the north, south, east, west station is very, very, very far to the north, south, east or west, so very far out of the city. But in Nanjing it's not too far. It looks on the map like only about 5 kilometers from where I am now. Obviously the main station was sort of on the north of the city centre, and so I walked across the city centre yesterday to get to my hotel. But yeah, the south station's not too far from here. So it looks like I'll just be able to walk around all day, see the different things, and then walk to the station, which would be quite good. But yeah, anyway, I'll keep you updated. I've just found a shopping centre not far from my hotel. But yes, it's very dark and quiet here. I mean, it is the morning time, but I mean, like I was saying yesterday, in China, shopping centres are coming up all over the place, but also at the same time, there are some shopping centres, like there was one in the first city I lived in China, Guiyang, very close to my home. There was a shopping centre that was sort of dying, so it seems that is the case in some places. So it's very dark here. We've got some obviously vacant stores, but here, again, no one's using them, but these are some very cool sort of arcade type machines for winning toys. Yeah, designed like telephone boxes. It's blocked a little by the trees, but this building in the distance here reminds me a bit of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Just reached the centre of the first park here, and yes, very, very cultural. We've got some statues over there and some stairs with, wow, a clock made into the hill up to a structure over there. I'll have to go and check out what it is. This building behind me. And what actually really strikes me about this area is the architecture, because a lot of ancient old buildings and temples in China, as you may have seen in videos or photos, are made with a red and black sort of colour scheme, but this is all very much natural stone. Yeah, so it's a bit different. I'll show you through here. I mean, it's busy today, but considering it's a vacation, it's certainly not crowded. Yeah, and in the distance here, we have a long pathway up to some stairs up to another structure. So again, I'll go and check that out too, and when I see what it is, I'll make another clip. Some more statues and some musical notes for a song by this pool here as we just get closer. The Chinese characters are written by use of different flower colours here. Just going up the steps towards the monument. Oh, wow, I didn't see before. All the flowers are in flower pots. We've made it to the monument. And a very strong, triumphant man in the statue here. And just over here, more use of flowers in making a structure. So we do have lots of Chinese characters engraved into the monument here. I can't read much Chinese yet. I guess that's a next step in my journey in learning Chinese. And there's no translation, so I don't know what all of it says. But there are a few characters I recognise. So Shang for, which means on or above, Ren, which means person, and Zhong, which means middle, and it's in Zhongguo, which is the Chinese word for China. I'll just take a quick clip from the top of the hill where the monument was, and yes, a very extravagant view down. We've got the whole stairs and path. We've got the water by where the Chinese song was written with the musical notes, and yeah, there's the sort of archway I went through at the place where I made the first clip commenting on the architecture here. I'm just going to get a quick selfie, a quick photo with this view behind me. So now on the other side of the big building, I've just come up the stairs past that clock structure in the grass to investigate the structure I was pondering about earlier, and it turns out it's another pavilion, going back to our discussion yesterday on pavilions and pagodas. Yes, and it's much more shady here, much less sunshine, so it was much easier to get a good selfie. But anyway, I think I'm going to head off because I still want to get to these parks with the mountains as soon as possible. Some more characters carved into a big stone in the water here. Walking through another small park here, en route to the park that looks to have the mountain. And yes, again, it's just beautiful to have what seems like essentially countryside in the middle of a big city. Over another river, and we're almost at the park with the mountains, but still a bit of a way to go, so have to be quick now to get there and hopefully have time to go up one and down again before dark. Here's one, well, relatively small mountain, or hill if you want to call it that, ahead, and it looks like it actually does have a pagoda on top. I'm not sure if I can get to it, hopefully, although I think I just saw some people on a path starting over there, so yes, hopefully. And here to the left it looks like the end of a train line. Yes, there is a little car park here and very much paths I can use by the looks of it. Yes, so hopefully up I go. Up some stairs through the trees. And the stairs have now stopped. I don't know if this is a path I'm actually supposed to use, but there does look to be a route up through the trees, and in the distance there I can see some sky. So let's be adventurous and just keep going. So I just walked up here through the trees, and I actually had to hold on to some trees to help me go. It was almost like climbing. But yes, I have actually found a real path now. Some more steps. Definitely the real path now. And yes, just about at the top. And yes, this 100% is a pagoda. So up I go. I'll keep recording. Just the last flight of steps. Absolutely no one here. Peaceful and quiet. Calm, tranquil. A very, very light breeze. And yes, it would be a beautiful place actually to watch the sunset. Maybe I could, I guess. I suppose. Yes, I suppose if that path's safe enough, even after dark, I could go down. Or I could certainly watch the beginning of the sunset, maybe. That'll be starting in a minute. Yeah, so here's the view. Well, I guess the sunset has very much already started. We'll see the start of it before we head down. Yeah, you can see, I guess, over there, sort of built up parts of the city. But then on this side, it really is, again, nature, trees, other small mountains, countryside. Yeah, very, very peaceful. So leave my bag here and yeah, head up the final few steps towards the pagoda. Although it looks like it could actually be a pavilion, not a pagoda, because it certainly looks like there's a sort of round part where you can sit down. But anyway, we'll keep going. Yes. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure how often people come here because, I mean, obviously the main path is quite well kept. These fences are, there's lots of signs around which look relatively clean, but then it's also very sort of overgrown. So and obviously no one around here. I mean, it's the evening, but then it's the vacation as well. We'll keep walking. Here we go. Yeah, almost like the forest to the side. Well, I guess it is almost like a forest on the mountain. Door here. I don't know if it's open. No. And some lights. Do they work? No. Yes, keep going. Up we go. And it seems like, as well as the main, yes, it definitely looks like a pavilion, not a pagoda. There's something else here. It's another pavilion. I can't see, is it a table? Is it a table inside? Yeah, a table with a statue behind. It's almost like a temple. It's somewhere you come to pray, I think. So yes, you would kneel down here. And then people have offered food, maybe. There's food here. Yeah, real food. And some money as well, people have offered. Yeah, so there's a broom here, so yeah, I guess it is looked after, which is beautiful. Yeah, so obviously temples, Buddhism is a really big thing in China, a big part of Chinese culture. So in every city you go to, you will always find temples, and especially temples on top of mountains like this. Keep walking through to yes, I think it's definitely a pavilion over this little bridge. Yes, it seems to be a pavilion, but with just quite a high sort of tower above it. Yes, exactly. Going forwards. Yeah, and you've just got the view again. So I guess I'll stay here for a little longer, relax, embrace with the area, embrace with the nature, and then maybe as the sunset gets a bit deeper, you could say, we're a bit further into it, I'll take a final clip before I go down. The sun and sky around us certainly getting more orange now. I've just been watching the water down below. Lots of people seem to be out walking along it. Well, the sun and sky around it are certainly getting more orange now. I've just been watching the water below. There's some people walking alongside it. But yes, I think I will head down now as I show you the view again, just because I don't know just how long it'll be until I get somewhere with clear light, and once the sun's going down it can get dark very, very quickly. So yes, once I get down, I've still got a bit of time, but I'll start heading in the direction of Nanjing South train station. So off I go. A very long straight staircase here. At the bottom now, and just passing the water I saw from up top. Walking on this road now, still in the park with the mountains. Again, so quiet and peaceful, especially in the twilight. And a gate, archway, for the entrance exit of the park. This is a big Nanjing Hilton here, with another mountain and a lit up building on it just behind. And jump forward several hours in real time, and I am back in Wuxi. It was quite a long walk to the train station, Nanjing South in the end. I actually had to run some of it to get there in time, but made it okay and had my train home just over an hour. The way there yesterday morning actually was just under an hour. So yes, it's really not too far from Wuxi up to Nanjing and back again. But yes, that's it. Nanjing, a 2-day trip done very much spontaneously and a big focus on just looking around, exploring and seeing what I could find. So it's great to see another city in China and back home now. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye bye.